Multi-talented and an expert on LGBT entertainment, JD DeSalvatore has worked as a producer, director, editor and even actor in productions of all shapes and sizes. In addition to producing the successful films Eating Out 2, Gay Propaganda and Shelter, JD has worked in visual effects on films such as Dante's Peak, Armageddon and the X-Files movie. And JD, the truth is out there, isn't it?
No, seldom it's not. Well, we try to hide the truth as much as possible. This is Hollywood.
And you do it very well.
Yes, thank you.
Tell us about the whole entertainment scene with LGBT.
Well, there's a niche market in the movie business that's for LGBT entertainment, gay and lesbian, and it's a very vibrant, rich arena where films are produced by and about gay people. It's a very exciting time now because since this is kind of all started, there are now 2 gay networks, Logo and Here, in addition to HBO and Showtime producing LGBT shows, and Bravo as well. Almost everything on Bravo seems gay to me. You know, Project Runway, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. Like aren't there a bunch of lesbian chefs on their shows? So it's a very exciting time, and there's gay and lesbian film festivals worldwide. There's almost one in every city across the country. It's very exciting because in some countries overseas, in cities where it's almost illegal to be gay, they have sort of underground LGBT film festivals. So
illegal to be gay?
Yeah, you know, we're talking about the Middle East.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, you know. And even in this country, sometimes I get contacted by film festivals where it's in a very rural place, and they're literally having a film festival like in a barn somewhere. Yeah.
My God.
Or they try to have a gay pride, and it gets shut down, and like very small, but, you know.
But it all gets down to a good film is a good film, and a bad film is a bad film.
Well, yeah, that's true of any filmmaking.
And you've always wanted to be in film. You said you were born into it.
Yes. Yes. I think I came out of the womb yelling, I want a director's cut. Send this contract back. This is trash. Here's your baby.
But what draws you to film?
I love making movies. I love the whole process of it. It's fun. I grew up around movies, and I just fell in love with them at an early age, and I loved going to theater. I was a big Broadway hound. I mean, I think I saw Sunday in the Park 3 times when I was 12. You know, that sort of thing. So I've always loved theater and film, so I studied it in college and then moved to Los Angeles to endeavor to work in it. And I did. And then later, in my 30s, I got involved in LGBT gay rights activism. And that kind of informed the kinds of films I've been choosing to make for the last couple years.
The Cecil B. DeMille of 84th Court.
Oh, you read my press pack.
So what the hell is the Cecil B. DeMille of 84th Court?
I was putting on plays in my garage when I was 10, and I was making Super 8 movies, and all my friends can tell you I was always dragging them into doing productions. But I was literally like putting together little Super 8 films when I was 8 or 9 years old.
What's some of the great movies that you've seen? Which ones sort of stand out? Which ones had
some of my favorite films are Cabaret, Ordinary People, The Godfather 1 and 2. I love Judgment at Nuremberg, the David Lean films. I actually like Bridge on the River Kwai better than Lawrence of Arabia. I love Sunset Boulevard. I love old Capra films. Some of my favorite directors are Sidney Lumet and Bob Fosse. And recently I really liked Anthony Minghella, which was The English Patient, and I quite loved Truly, Madly, Deeply. My favorite genre of film is definitely 70s movies. You know, like the Conversation and Klute and MASH and Nashville and Ordinary People and Raging Bull. I mean, I could go on. The 70s was rich with sort of Network. I love that movie. But I also love, you know, Preston Sturges films and some of the films like Bringing Up Baby and His Girl Friday. So there's good genres of films everywhere. Yeah. And Betty Davis films like All About Eve.
You really like the old films. Were they the sort of films that have influenced your filmmaking today?
Yeah, and independent cinema. You know, when independent cinema broke, I was just graduating from college, and that's when Sex, Lies, and Sundance, Redford started the Sundance Film Festival, and Sex, Lies, and Videotapes hit the scene, which is a very small produced film that was reminiscent of 70s films. And since then, now you have independent cinema. You know, Juno is relatively independent, and Little Miss Sunshine, and, you know, there's a whole slew of films that sort of play at Toronto and Sundance every year, and those are the kinds of films actually I'm drawn to and that I really like. Although the LGBT films I make are rather like upbeat, feel-good, positive, I do like darker stuff, and I do like wacky comedies. I love Terry Gilliam as well. Speaking of directors that I love, like Brazil is one of my favorite films.
On one hand, we have the major studios. On the other hand, we have the independent filmmakers.
Yeah.
And you prefer the independent filmmakers.
Yeah,
but you've worked on some big ones, though, haven't you?
Oh, I worked on some big budget films. I have to admit, I loved working in visual effects because even as a girl, I love visual effects. It won't make the movie. I mean, most of the movies, no offense, well, they're not mentioned here, but some of the other big effects movies I worked on were horrible. So effects will never save a movie. But if you actually go to a film and you see really good visual effects, sometimes the artistry within the film is better than the movie itself. When I worked on some of these films, I got to work with incredible artists. Like I worked on Alien Resurrection, and I don't know what the quality of the film as a whole, but if you look at the artistry on those spaceships and the photography, it is just phenomenal. There were like a lot of really talented sculptors and model makers and painters, and I'm just a producer. I don't have a proclivity for that stuff, but I love walking on set and into the shop when they're getting everything ready, and I'm like, wow, you made that little guy, and he's that big, and he's wearing a little badge, and it's a lovely, rich world area to work in big motion pictures. And I admire the way they put sequences together. And when we always got breakdowns from these big films, like Matrix and all these kind of films, like when they thought out how they were going to shoot it, the artistry's in that as well. It's definitely an art form. But if the script is horrible, then these movies just come and go.
Armageddon, you couldn't have got a bigger movie, could you? I mean, it's just a great movie.
I did the Chrysler Building, which is at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, I love those guys. This is how they did it. They're like, okay, build it. We'll drop it in the parking lot. Build 2, we'll drop it twice. Love those guys. It's not like all planned out. Like with the X-Files movie, we built this giant building and it was retractable, so we blew it up repeatedly. And we studied...
How much fun is that?
Yeah, but it's like you reset. Like it's this very thought out. It's all mechanical and pyro, and it's all timed out, and it's beautiful, but you can keep doing it over and over. And I worked with the Armageddon guys on Dante's Peak, and they're just like, let it go. Where's the bridge going to go? I don't know. Release the 600,000 tanks of water and step back. And these guys are pros, and you roll, and I try to be... Remember, the thing in effects is wherever the pyro guy tells you to stand 20 feet behind that. And I stand as far away as humanly possible, and then you shoot it. But what's great is when you see it, it's not computer animated, it's actually real. And these guys are phenomenal, and they do a really great job, and it looks great.
Were you a terror when you were younger? Like you'd blow things up and set fire to toys and nothing like that at all?
No, I was more into, pensive tone poems and stuff like that.
So tell us about Gay Propaganda.
Gay Propaganda was a short film I made maybe 10 years ago when I first started making LGBT films, and it was so much fun to make. What it was gay and lesbian reenactments of famous scenes from Hollywood movies. So each piece was about 2 minutes long, and what we did was we took movies like Goodfellas, Reservoir Dogs, Casablanca, like the epitome of straight films, if you will, and we recast them as either gay or lesbian, or both.
Give me some lines.
You think I'm funny? Do I amuse you? To make you laugh?
All the above.
And then like Reservoir Dogs is, what do you mean I gotta be Mr. Pink? Why do I gotta be Mr. Pink? He's got a cool name, Mr. White. Well, I didn't do that, but I mean everyone, and then we did Casablanca, you're getting on that plane. But what about you, Rick? And then we did Moonstruck. I love that film. There's another film I love, Sharon Nicolas Cage. So basically I got, all these great people together in the LGBT community and out actors, and everyone worked on the films for free. Like we just had a great time. And when that came out, that played about 113 film festivals around the world, and we won about 5 awards for Best of. And that was kind of my start into making LGBT films.
Mm-hmm. Do you prefer comedy or drama?
I made Eating Out 2 as a comedy, and it's written by, it's such a talented, up-and-coming writer-director, and so fresh, so outrageous. When we screened that movie, it's very short and it's very rambunctious, but I found that in the audiences, people were laughing so loud, and then they'd stop because they didn't want to miss the next joke. It was a cute little film, but that was a comedy, and we had just 3 really talented stars in that for newcomers are, we had Jim Ferraros, who we got from season 1 of American Idol. He was number 9, and he was gay, and we're like, oh, the director's like, I want him in this film. And he and these 2 girls just can act. They've got this kind of like old school comedy bit going, and we made this very small, low budget film. But it was very funny and rambunctious and very gay, and so that was my first feature that I produced that was gay.
So tell us about Shelter.
Shelter's a movie I made about 2 years ago. It's a surf movie about a young artist that lives in San Pedro, and he is kind of stuck there, and he wants to be an artist, and he ends up falling in love with his best friend's older brother, who's a writer. And it's a great movie. We've won a lot of awards. We had a theatrical last year. We've been on DVD now. Just got a GLAAD nomination.
which is fantastic.
Thank you.
Do you still enjoy film as much from when you started to now?
Yeah, it's hard. Denial helps.
How's it? But
The
how's
business of making
Yeah.
movies is hard, let me
Yeah.
tell you. I mean, I'm 23. Look what I look like.
Well, I'm
from
21.
making
It's amazing.
movies.
And we lie. Well, how's the industry changed from when you first started to now?
I don't think it's changed.
Still
I've
the
only
same.
been doing this 20 years.
But you're
and
so young.
When I know, please, I'm so old. When I got here, the studios are making high concept pictures, the independents are making independent pictures. It's been a little rougher for gays. When I first got to Hollywood, no one cared. If you were gay and Jewish, you were in Hollywood. I mean, hello, David Geffen. What was that? Bruce Valanche has a great joke that the gay mafia used to be David Geffen's jacuzzi parties on Friday night. And so everything was like, no one cared if you were gay, like no one cared that I was gay. And then like Bush took over, and then the religious right started pounding on things, and then still things got a little interesting. So, but every time they come at us, all it does is make the LGBT community, both within the higher ranks of Hollywood and also on the streets and the grassroots activism, it just makes us stronger. It just makes us want to work together as a team to overcome and take care of ourselves. So it's been interesting the last couple years. I don't think it's harder to make films, and I prefer making smaller films and working with people I really like, because I just like working with creative people, and filmmaking is like a team sport. No one makes a film, You make a film with a group of people. Like Shelter was a group of like the most incredible creative people you ever want to meet. From the guy that shot it to the production designers to our actors to I just love our editor. The guy that wrote our score just got nominated for a Grammy this year because he wrote a Trisha Yearwood song. But like everyone, it's so much fun, and we don't have very much money because we're making very small films. So it's all kind of a labor of love, and you go to the set every day and you really enjoy the script you're working on, and you really like working with each other, and everyone can have input and be creative, and this is what I like. It's like playing in a sandbox.
If somebody wants to contact you, then get you through the smokingcocktail.com.
Yeah, I have an LGBT entertainment blog if people are interested to learn about all the work that everybody does, not just me. I have a website, www.thesmokingcocktail.com. It's like the smoking gun, only in the gay world we don't shoot guns, we just have drinks. And
Which is much nicer.
yeah, we're not. It's like the gay mafia. We don't have guns. We don't knock you off. It's not like The Sopranos. We just have a cocktail and talk about you behind your
Because
back.
you like your cocktails too, don't you?
Oh, I like champagne.
Yeah. If somebody was to ask you, they were sitting down, say, a whole group of people, those that have known you from the start to now, and they had one question to ask you. The question was, who are you? In a word.
Oh, dear God.
I know this is those terrible things, isn't it? This
No.
is where the camera goes close up on you and that sort of stuff.
Fabulous.
But who are you in a word?
Fabulous.
Fabulous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.